Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a couple in Letcher County is trying to get back on their feet after a Christmas Eve fire destroyed their home. And former Governor Matt Bevin's controversial pardons were a shock to many, and reports show that they may be under federal investigation. Plus, Governor Andy Beshear says he will not change the way Kentucky plans to roll out new driver's licenses.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Steve Hensley, and yes, it's very early for me. Let's check in with Brandon Robinson for our first look at your forecast this morning. At least it's not snowing or very cold out.
That's true, and listen, you'll see Steve all day long, so just don't go anywhere. He'll be here all the way to 6 o'clock tonight, so there you go. Steve, thanks for being with us this morning. We appreciate you filling in as Madison's under the weather and Will is on his holiday. Let's take a look, see what's going on current condition-wise. We look outside the WYMT studios, and not a whole lot of action, maybe just a touch of fog there. In the distance, we're seeing temperatures all over the place this morning. The closer you get to the Kentucky, Virginia, Tennessee border, the colder it is there. 40 in Harlan, 42 here in Hazard, 44 in Middlesboro. But the closer you get to I-64, Big Sandy, I-75, 57 Moorhead, 53 Prestonsburg, 51 in London, and 54 in Irvin and Jackson and Logan this morning. That's anywhere between 4 and 14 degrees warmer this morning than it was this time yesterday. So a big warm up, 57 today. Straight chances for rain throughout the day, mostly cloudy skies. I think our best chances for rain though this morning. As we look ahead, dreary conditions continue. We stay mild, but some changes are coming. We'll talk about those in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Brandon, thank you. New this morning, former Somerset Mayor J.P. Wiles died on Monday after a long illness. He was 85 years old and served as the mayor of Somerset for 2 terms from 1999 to 2007. When reflecting on his time as mayor, Wiles often said Summer Splash Water Park and a redesigned Monticello Street were 2 of the projects he was most proud of. Wiles also held a special place in his heart for the Scattered Homes Project, which allowed the city of Somerset to build roughly 30 homes for needy families. Wiles' funeral arrangements are being handled by the Lake Cumberland Funeral Home. We will post those on our website when they are announced. A big loss in the bourbon community. 4 Roses says brand ambassador Al Young died on Christmas with family by his side. Young is remembered as a walking, talking bourbon encyclopedia. He was with 4 Roses for 52 years and is a member of the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame. Funeral arrangements are still being made. A couple in Letcher County is trying to get back on their feet after a Christmas Eve fire destroyed their home. On top of sentimental items, they lost 7 pets in the fire. WYMT's Connor James talked with the couple at the skeleton of their home.
With each hit of the shovel, the dirt Donald Hammonds digs up is a tough reminder of this week's loss.
That's probably been the hardest. We miss them.
Donald and his wife Kathy lost their home to a fire Christmas Eve.
And then we come back home.
And all of it's ruined.
And this is what
we came home to.
Donald is now digging makeshift graves for the 7 pets lost in the fire.
It felt like my heart just dropped into my stomach. I've basically been crying for almost 3 days now.
Animal lovers, the couple adopted more than a dozen animals.
Yeah, we love our animals. They're our children.
We rescued some of them up in the animal shelter at Pikeville too.
The 2 have been staying with family, not knowing what to do next. Their income is too tight to buy a new home.
Yeah, because we just got her SSI check.
Yeah, that's our only income right now is my SSI.
That's what we got.
So, yeah.
As they sift through the house in order to take out their pets' bodies, they also do recover little pieces of hope.
There's about a couple things out of that house in that 1 bedroom that we were able to keep.
A few trinkets, Bibles, and photographs, that's really all they have left. Clothes, medicine, and the place they called home.
Yeah. And everything we owned pretty much.
Now all gone and tasked with figuring out what's next. In Letcher County, Connor James, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, the Red Cross is helping the 2. They are also looking for people to take care of their pets that remain since they no longer have a home. We do have ways you can help the couple on WYMT.com. More than 200 Kentucky mining employees will be losing their jobs. A warn notice was filed for Genesis Coal Mine in Centertown, Kentucky. That's in Ohio County. The notice indicates the layoffs will be permanent. The mine's owner, Murray Energy, filed for bankruptcy in October. This layoff affects 250 people and is expected to take effect in February. Former Governor Matt Bevin's controversial pardons were a shock to many, including the mother of a 9-year-old rape victim. Micah Schottel served just 19 months of a 23-year sentence before he was pardoned. In a radio interview last week, Bevin claimed there was no physical evidence in this case, but a 2012 study found that about 90% of child victims don't show physical evidence of abuse. The victim's mother says Bevin's decision was like a slap in the face.
I think my daughter is going to return to counseling because she has read Bevin's comments about her, and I know it upsets her. Other than that, we're just kind of taking one day at a time.
A prosecutor who helped put Schottel behind bars says he's looking at how this case got to the governor's desk and if any favors were involved. The FBI is also reportedly looking into some of Bevin's controversial pardons. A Marine veteran and former police officer has officially filed to run for U.S. Congress. Democrat Josh Hicks filed with the Secretary of State's office yesterday. He's running for the 6th congressional seat and hoping a primary win will put him up against Republican incumbent Congressman Andy Barr. Barr is seeking his 5th term. For those wanting to run in the special election for the House seat Rocky Adkins once held, they need to file by January 7th. Earlier this week, Governor Beshear set a special election date for February 25th. The 99th district includes parts of Elliott, Lewis, and Rowan counties. The former minority floor leader joined the Beshear administration, leaving the seat vacant. State Republican officials say a prominent member of their party is in critical condition this morning. Family members say Representative John Bam Carney of Campbellsville was admitted to the hospital on Monday. It was sudden and serious, and it has inspired a bipartisan show of support and prayers for his recovery. Garrett Weimer has more from the state capitol.
As word spread of Bam Carney's condition, there came many tweets, but one message: pray for him and his family. Family members say Representative Carney is on dialysis and has been in the ICU since late Monday after having 2 surgeries. They say it all stems from a severe case of pancreatitis and infection. Carney has been in the State House since 2009. He's a longtime teacher, a member of the Education Committee, and the current majority floor leader.
But the bottom line is we have to put SRO in every building in the Commonwealth.
During the last session, he sponsored HB 1, the House version of the school safety bill, as well as the controversial HB 205, a scholarship tax credit program for private schools. A lot of folks from both sides of the aisle have expressed their support for Carney, wishing him well even if they have political differences. In a statement, House Democrats said they join all of Kentucky in praying for Carney's full recovery, adding, quote, while the legislative process may at times be contentious, we are all one big family that stands together in times of personal difficulties for our fellow members. Also in a statement, the governor's office said Governor and First Lady Beshear are praying for Representative Carney and his family and hope he fully and quickly recovers. Family members say they're grateful for the support, encouragement, and prayers as folks across the Commonwealth pull for Carney's recovery. At the state capitol, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Family members said Wednesday night that doctors told them Carney was one of the sickest patients at the hospital. They say he could have feeding tubes for weeks and drain tubes for months. Governor Andy Beshear says he will not change the way Kentucky plans to roll out the new driver's licenses. Last month, state transportation officials announced the real IDs would be issued through 12 regional offices throughout the Commonwealth. The deadline requiring the real IDs to board planes or enter federal buildings is October 1st, 2020. We expect to hear an update on the rollout next week from the Transportation Cabinet. A big change next week to how you get some license plates. Some of you will be required to pay an additional charitable donation to the organization represented on the plate. Currently, $10 donations are optional, but starting Monday, that donation will be required. The change affects 29 special license plates. New fees for the 29 special plates will be $44 when first purchased and $44 at annual registration renewal. Well, Christmas is, of course, over, and it's almost time to take down those Christmas trees if you haven't already. Those with artificial trees, well, you'll probably just put them in storage until next year. But what about the natural trees? Instead of trashing them, Kentucky Fish and Wildlife says you should recycle them through their Christmas tree recycling program. The trees go to lakes across Kentucky to provide habitat for fish. All you have to do is take off the lights, tinsel, ornaments, and other decorations, then drop it off at one of 39 locations across the state.
Once they're in the water, will help improve conditions for young fish, but also improve cover for older fish as well.
The Department of Fish and Wildlife says many of the lakes are more than 50 years old, so the fish need the fresh wood and habitat. One drop-off site is the Perry County Conservation District here in Hazard. For information on all the other drop-off locations in our region, you can visit WYMT.com.
Showers continue to pick up and plague us across the area this morning. They're scattered to spotty, but they're there. As we see the last 6 hours scanning the skies on the satellite and radar loop, you can see a few more starting to drift in from the Lake Cumberland area. That will be across the area this morning. So again, just be careful. First measurable rain we've had in quite some time. 40 in Harlan, 57 in Moorhead, 51 in Pikeville, 52 in London, and 42 right here in Hazard this morning. Southwest wind continues to crank, and that's bringing us some very warm air as we head into the next couple of days. So iced coffee for some for temperatures, and normal day for coffee on the coffee meter on this Friday. Your emoji cast as we look ahead to the weekend. We'll see today cloudy skies and stray showers, overcast conditions, but still mild for your Saturday. And Sunday, that rain returns as the cold front brings us into the last days of 2019. Steve?
All right, Brandon, thank you. And thank you for joining us for Mountain News this morning. We have more news on the way. A scary sight for an Eastern Kentucky family and volunteer fire department after a firefighter's truck flipped on Christmas Day. And in Greenup County, a long road to recovery is still ahead for a cat found severely burned after a house fire last week.